My boyfriend snapped. Stop asking where I stay at night. Respect my space. I said, enjoy your space. I gathered all his bags and left them at the house he claimed was just his best friend's. The way he froze when he saw who picked them up was priceless. I'm 36, and about 3 months ago, I thought I was in a normal relationship. We'd been together for almost 4 years, met through work connections, started casually, then got serious around the 6-month mark. He moved into my place after 2 years. Everything felt comfortable. We had routines, shared responsibilities, talked about the future, normal couple stuff. But around late November, something changed. He started coming home later. At first it was once a week, then twice. Then I stopped counting because it became the norm rather than the exception. The first time I really noticed was a Wednesday. He texted me around 6 p.m. saying he'd be late. I said fine, made dinner for myself, watched a movie. He came home around 11:30. I was still up. Hey, how was your night? I asked from the couch. Fine, tired. Where were you? He stopped taking off his coat. Out with friends. Which friends? Does it matter? I'm just asking, making conversation. I was with my best friend. She's going through something and needed to talk. Oh, okay. Everything all right with her? It's personal. I don't want to get into it. He went straight to the bedroom. I sat there feeling like I'd done something wrong just by asking a normal question. That became the pattern. He'd leave after work, or sometimes later in the evening, come home past midnight, and give me nothing but vague answers. Out with friends, helping someone, never specifics, never details, and always with this edge in his voice like I was interrogating him. By mid-December, it was happening 3 or 4 times a week. I'd be home alone most evenings. I'd text him asking when he'd be back. Sometimes he'd respond with late or don't wait up. Sometimes he wouldn't respond at all until he walked through the door at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. I'm not a jealous person, never have been. I don't check phones or demand itineraries. But when your partner is essentially living somewhere else half the week and won't tell you where or why, you start to notice. One Friday night in early January, I tried to talk to him about it. He was getting ready to leave again. Where are you headed? I asked, trying to sound casual. Out. I figured that. Out where? Why do you need to know? Because you're gone almost every night and I barely see you anymore. I'm just trying to understand what's going on. He stopped putting on his shoes and looked at me. I'm allowed to have a life outside this relationship. I know that. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying it would be nice to know where you are sometimes. We live together. It's not unreasonable. You're being controlling. I'm asking a question. You're interrogating me. There's a difference. How is asking where I'm going interrogating me? Because you're doing it constantly. Every time I leave, you need to know where I am, who I'm with, when I'll be back. It's suffocating. I just stared at him. I ask because you're vague about everything. You give me nothing. If you just told me what you were doing, I wouldn't have to ask. I shouldn't have to report my every move to you. I'm not asking you to report. I'm asking for basic communication. He grabbed his bag. I'm going to my friend's place. She's still dealing with her situation and needs support. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow? You're staying out all night? Yes. Is that a problem? It's just you've been staying out a lot lately, almost every night, and you won't tell me what's actually going on. I told you my friend needs me. What friend? You keep saying my friend, but you won't even tell me who it is. It's private. We're in a relationship. We live together. There shouldn't be this many secrets. He opened the door. I need space. You're being too much right now. And he left. I sat there for a long time after that. Something wasn't right. The secrecy, the defensiveness, the way he'd started treating me like I was the problem for asking basic questions. The next morning, he came home around 10 a.m. I was making coffee. Morning, I said. Morning. How's your friend? She's okay, still struggling but managing. What's going on with her exactly? You've been spending a lot of time helping her. He poured himself coffee. It's complicated. She's going through a bad breakup. That's rough, but you've been there almost every night for weeks. Seems like a lot. She needs consistent support. I can't just abandon her. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying it's affecting us. You're never here. We don't spend time together anymore. Maybe if you weren't so needy, I'd want to be here more. That one hit hard. Needy? Yes, needy. You can't handle me having friends or a life outside of you. That's not true. I'm fine with you having friends. What I'm not fine with is being kept in the dark about where you are and what you're doing most nights. I don't owe you a detailed schedule. I'm not asking for a schedule. I'm asking for honesty. He set down his mug. I'm being honest. You just don't like the answer. What answer? You haven't given me any real answers, just vague statements about helping a friend. What more do you want to know? Who is this friend? Where does she live? What's her name? Why can't I meet her if you're spending so much time there? Because it's not your business. It is my business when my boyfriend is gone most nights. I need space. You're suffocating me. He went to the bedroom. I heard the shower start a few minutes later. That's when I started really questioning everything. The secrecy wasn't normal. The defensiveness wasn't normal. The way he'd started framing me as controlling for asking where he was, that wasn't normal either. 2 weeks later, I was done tiptoeing around it. He was getting ready to leave again on a Tuesday evening. Where are you going? I asked. Out. To your friend's place? Yes. Can you give me the address? He froze. Why? Because you're there constantly. If something happened, I should know where you are. Nothing's going to happen. It's just practical. What if there was an emergency? You have my phone number. What if your phone died? What if I couldn't reach you? That's paranoid. It's not paranoid. It's reasonable. You're my boyfriend. We live together. I should know where you're spending half your time. No, I'm not giving you the address. Why not? Because it's invasive. You don't trust me. I'm trying to trust you, but you're making it really hard when you won't tell me basic information. I don't have to tell you everything. This isn't everything. This is where you are most nights. Stop asking where I stay at night. Respect my space. I stood up from the couch. Enjoy your space. He looked confused. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm done asking. You clearly don't want me involved in whatever this is, so go stay wherever you want. Do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. You're being dramatic. I'm being realistic. You want space? You've got it. He left, slammed the door. I stood there in the silence of my own apartment, realizing I'd just given up on getting answers. But I hadn't given up on finding them. After he left, I went to the bedroom and started packing his things. All of them. Clothes, toiletries, shoes, books, everything that was his. It took me about 3 hours. I packed 4 large bags and 2 boxes. Then I did something I'm not particularly proud of. I went through his desk. He kept a lot of paperwork there. Old mail, receipts. I was looking for something, anything that would tell me where he'd been going. I found it in a stack of receipts, a thank you card still in its envelope. It was addressed to someone, a woman's name. The return address was on the back. Inside the card, he'd written, "Thank you for letting me stay over so often. You've been such a great support during this confusing time. I don't know what I'd do without you." I stood there holding that card for a long time, reading it over and over, letting me stay over so often, not letting us crash, not being there for my friend, letting me stay over. His friend wasn't a man, his friend was a woman, and he'd been staying at her place multiple nights a week for months while lying to me about it. I looked at the address on the envelope, memorized it, and put the card back exactly where I found it. Then I loaded all his bags into my car. I drove to that address. It was about 25 minutes away, a decent neighborhood, townhouses, well-maintained. I pulled up across the street and sat there for a minute. His car was in the driveway. I got out, grabbed all 4 bags and both boxes, carried them to the front door, and set them down neatly on the porch. Then I rang the doorbell and walked back to my car. I was pulling away when I saw the door open in my rearview mirror. A woman appeared first, tall, maybe late 30s, wearing a casual sweater. Then he stepped into view behind her. The look on his face was something I'll never forget. Pure shock, then panic, then this desperate attempt to process what was happening. I kept driving, didn't look back again. When I got home, I changed the locks, called a locksmith, paid extra for same-day service. By 9 p.m., he couldn't get back in, even if he tried. He started calling around 10 p.m. I didn't answer. He called 15 times in a row, then started texting from different numbers. "What the hell did you do? Answer your phone. We need to talk. You can't just kick me out. I'm coming over. We're discussing this like adults." I didn't respond to any of it. I turned my phone on silent and went to bed. He showed up around midnight. I heard him trying his key, then knocking, then pounding. "I know you're in there. Open the door." I didn't move. "This is insane. You're being insane." I turned on white noise on my phone and went back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to 37 missed calls and twice as many texts. I blocked his number, blocked the other numbers he'd been using. Then his mother called. I answered because I wasn't expecting it. "Hello, what did you do to my son?" "I removed his belongings from my home." "He said you threw him out." "He's been staying somewhere else most nights anyway. I just made it official." "You can't do that." "I can. It's my house. My name is on the lease. He was staying here as my guest. That arrangement is over. He has rights. He has the right to collect his belongings, which I've already delivered. He doesn't have the right to live in my home after lying to me for months. He wasn't lying. He told me he was staying at a friend's place. He's been staying with another woman. Silence on the other end. He made his choice, I continued. I'm making mine. Please don't call me again. I hung up and blocked that number too. Over the next week, he tried everything. Showed up at my workplace. I had security escort him out. Sent messages through mutual friends. I told them if they kept playing Messenger, I'd cut them off too. He had his sister show up at my door. I told her through the Ring camera that if she didn't leave, I'd call the police. That visit annoyed me more than the others. She stood there for 5 minutes trying to convince me I was overreacting. Said I was throwing away 4 years over a misunderstanding. I asked her what the misunderstanding was. She couldn't answer, just kept saying I should be reasonable and hear him out. He had months to be reasonable, I said. Months to hear me out when I asked simple questions. He chose to lie instead. I'm not interested in hearing excuses now. She called me heartless and left. On day 8, a mutual friend I actually respected called me. Hey, I heard what happened. I'm sure you did. He's telling people you went crazy, that you threw him out over nothing. Of course he is. Is that what happened? Did he mention he's been staying at another woman's house 3 or 4 nights a week for the past 2 months? Pause. No, he didn't mention that. Did he mention he refused to tell me where he was, got defensive every time I asked, and called me controlling for wanting basic information? No. Then you don't have the full story. Are they together? Him and this woman? I have no idea, and I don't care. The point is, he lied consistently for months while making me feel like I was the problem for asking questions. That's messed up. Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm doing it. I'm moving on. He's out of my life. That's it. He's pretty upset. He should have thought about that before lying to me. Fair enough. I'm sorry, Rachel. Thanks. That conversation helped more than I expected. It reminded me I wasn't crazy, that my reaction was justified, that most reasonable people would have done the same thing. 3 weeks after I dropped his stuff off, I got an email. New address, since I'd blocked everything else. We need to talk about our things. There are items of yours at her place and items of mine at yours that you missed. I responded once. Make a list of what I missed. I'll leave it outside. As for my things, keep them or throw them away. I don't want anything that was at her place. You're being childish. I'm being final. I deserve an explanation. You had months to explain. You chose not to. I wasn't cheating. I don't care if you were or weren't. You lied about where you were and who you were with. That's enough. He didn't respond after that. I found a few items of his over the next week. A jacket in the hall closet, some books on a shelf, a pair of shoes under the bed. I put them in a bag, left them outside my door, texted him from a new number saying they were there, then blocked that number too. The bag was gone the next morning. About a month later, I ran into one of his friends at a coffee shop, someone who'd always been decent to me. Hey, she said, looking uncomfortable. Hey, I heard what happened. I'm sorry. Thanks. I just want you to know, I think you were right to leave. I looked at her. Yeah? He's been living with her for 2 months now. Says they're not together, but they're living together, going places together. He posts pictures with her constantly. I don't know what he thinks a relationship is, I said, but that looks like one to me. Did you tell him that? I tried. He said I was judging him, that they're just friends. Friends who lived together while he was still in a relationship with me. Exactly. Some of us know what really happened. He can tell whatever story he wants, but those of us paying attention know the truth. I appreciate that. You doing okay? Yeah, I'm good. And I was. I started going to the gym more, picked up hobbies I'd let slide, reconnected with friends I hadn't seen much because I'd been trying to make a relationship work with someone who'd already checked out. I started cooking more, taught myself some new recipes, started a small side project I'd been putting off for years. I took a weekend trip by myself to the mountains, just packed a bag and drove. Hiked for 2 days straight, cleared my head, came back feeling lighter than I had in months. I also started therapy. Not because I was devastated or broken, but because I wanted to understand why I'd tolerated the situation for so long, why I'd let someone make me feel crazy for asking basic questions, why I'd accepted being gaslit for months. My therapist said something that stuck with me. You weren't crazy. You were being told you were crazy. There's a difference. Trust yourself more. So I started doing that, trusting myself, listening to my instincts instead of dismissing them. 2 months after everything, I heard they'd made it official. They were together. Someone sent me a screenshot of him posting about her. Finally found someone who understands me. I laughed when I saw it, not out of bitterness, just at the absurdity of it. He'd spent months sneaking around, lying, making me feel insane for asking questions. And now he was public about it, like none of that mattered. Good for him, I guess. He got what he wanted, and I got my peace back. 3 months in, I went on a date. Not because I was ready for anything serious, but because a friend set me up, and I figured, why not? The guy was nice. We had a good conversation. He asked about my last relationship. I gave him the short version. He was staying at another woman's place most nights and wouldn't tell me about it. I found out, dropped his stuff off there, and ended it. He nodded. That's fair. Lying is a deal breaker. Yeah, it is. We went on 2 more dates. It didn't turn into anything serious, but it reminded me there were honest people out there, people who communicated, people who didn't make you feel insane for expecting basic decency. I'm 36, single, living in my own place without someone lying to me every night, sleeping well, working out, spending time with people who actually respect me. Someone asked me a few weeks ago if I missed him. No, I said, not even a little. Why would you? They asked. Exactly. He showed me exactly who he was. Someone willing to lie for months to keep one foot in my life while building something else with someone else. I don't miss that. I don't miss feeling crazy for asking normal questions. I don't miss being made to feel controlling for expecting basic honesty. Do you think he cheated? Someone asked. I think he did everything except physically cheat, I said. And even then, I wouldn't be surprised. But it doesn't matter. He was already gone emotionally. That's enough. I blocked everyone connected to him. Moved on completely. Started fresh. And honestly, I've never felt better. There's something freeing about cutting out someone who was draining your energy. Someone who made you question your own sanity. Someone who turned your reasonable concerns into character flaws. I look back now and realize how much mental space he was taking up. How much energy I was spending trying to decode his vague answers and wondering if I was being unreasonable. How much stress I was carrying just trying to maintain a relationship with someone who'd already checked out. All of that is gone now. I wake up without dread. I come home to my own space without wondering who's lying to me. I make plans without someone canceling last minute to go stay at someone else's place. It's quiet, it's simple, it's mine. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. People keep asking if I ever got confirmation about whether they were physical before I left. Honestly, I don't care. The emotional betrayal was enough. He was building a whole separate life with her while lying to me daily. Whether they slept together before or after I left doesn't change what he did. Some people think I should have confronted him face to face. I disagree. He had months to be honest. Every time I asked, he deflected, lied, or made me feel bad for asking. A confrontation would have just been another chance for him to manipulate the situation. I chose to walk away cleanly instead. No drama, no big fight, just done. A few people asked if I felt bad about going through his desk. Yeah, I did. But then I realized he'd been lying to me for months. I had a right to know the truth. If he'd been honest from the start, I never would have needed to look. He created the situation where I felt I had no other option.